Welcome back to Papa Prepper. T here. It is Sunday night. Man, I swear, I was just on here like 2 hours ago, said it's Friday night. I think the work week should be 2 days. The weekend should be 5. And but still make the same amount of money, you know. Anyway, hope everybody's had a good weekend. Back to the grind, the hustle and bustle tomorrow. I hope y'all got the chance to get out this weekend and maybe, add to your stockpile. Get a little more ready. Like I say, if you say you're ready, you're lying to yourself because you can't be too ready. Ready as you're ever going to be, but never too ready. Or never ready enough. I'm just going to hit on a couple things that, kind of caught my attention in the news this weekend, and then I will, I've got some pretty lengthy list of prepping items, excuse me, prepping items that a lot of people kind of overlook. I've done this before, but I found some other stuff, and, just sitting in, my mind never stops. I never am on break, so to speak, from prepping and what if situations. And some of y'all seen my video that I made this morning at 2:30 a.m. My mind wouldn't stop. I'm constantly thinking about this stuff in every situation. And I, by the way, thank y'all. I did hit 300 subscribers last night. Pretty stoked about that. But I seen this. It kind of made me not really chuckle, but it kind of gave you that wow moment. You know what I mean? Here is what I seen online. Excuse me. This is their list of whatever site I was on. These are the reasons that people should want to prep. Okay, in their opinion, this is what could possibly cause a bug in or bug out situation. Large-scale cyber attacks that take down the entire grid. Pandemic outbreaks and localized disease epidemics. EMP, terror attacks, and grid failures. An attack on your local water supply. Disasters that cause breakdowns in food distribution systems. A large-scale economic collapse. Social unrest and riots. Declaration of martial law. Earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, and storm surges and flooding. It's a wow factor because we're going through every daggone one of these all at one time. Except for, martial law has not been declared. It's right on the tip of their tongue, but it hasn't happened yet. And attack on our local water supply. Everything, if you look at, I'm sure there are places that you just don't hear about that, local water supplies have been, contaminated or whatnot, but we're going through every one of these right now. So how can people just think you don't need to be ready, that you don't need to prep? I don't get how are we, me, you, everybody watching this, how are we the weird ones? How are we the bad people, the hoarders, what makes us the bad people when all we're doing is setting ourselves up to at least have a decent chance to get through all this? I don't see how anybody could be so blind as to think we're the weirdos. That we're just crazy. We wear tinfoil hats and hunt Bigfoot and, listen to aliens on the AM radio or whatever it is they do. But in seriousness, what makes us so bad? I don't understand. We're going through every one of these but two, and one of them is right on the brink of happening, which is the martial law. But Anyway, I found a big wow factor in that. Like I said, if you just, and it wasn't just this site. I seen this list, so I went around to a couple different sites just to compare. Looking up the top 10 reasons or the top 20 reasons, and I mean, they're all right there. Every list had the same ones, and to think we're living it, every one of those scenarios right now. If you're not prepping, you're the one that's nuts. But I got a couple things here. I just decided to use my phone to take some notes, so to speak, instead of wasting a bunch of printer paper that I just throw away when I'm done recording. But like I said, I hope you got the chance to get out this weekend and get some more stockpiling accomplished, or whatever it is you need to do to add to your prep, because I think this week could be very interesting. There's a lot of hope still that it could be overturned, but if it is, overturned, it's going to be really bad. If it's not overturned, it's going to be really bad. In my personal opinion, I think if it is overturned, that will be the worst. The rioting and civil unrest, and that will be. But Mr. President Trump said today that the protests that are going to be in Washington D.C. Wednesday, he will be there. He says I will be there. It will be it will be a historic day. Whew, can't talk tonight, y'all. Group of Republicans in the House and Senate are planning to voice objections to the Electoral College, setting up debate in both chambers on whether to certify the election results for Joe Biden. The planned protest will be objecting to the Trump campaign allegations of voter and election fraud, including Democratic pushes circumventing states' election laws with rushed mass mail-in balloting. Whew. Demonstrations are planned at the Washington Monument, the Freedom Plaza, and the Capitol. The right-wing group Proud Boys has vowed to be in the crowd to protect against violent, destructive, leftist counter-protests that railed America during the presidential election year. So, President Trump has vowed he's going to be there. The Proud Boys are going to be there. Tifa and BLM, they're going to be there. So it could get messy Wednesday. Very possible. And then I also seen where the mayor of Washington, D.C., where all these people are going to be, has ordered, I can't remember her name, has ordered the shutdowns of hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, gas stations, and grocery stores from the 4th through the 6th of January. What is the reasoning behind it? How does she think that's right? That's just going to make it worse. People aren't going to be like, well, I can't get in a Little Debbie's, I might as well head home. No, that's going to piss them off even more. That's all you're doing. You're inciting this crap to get worse. But, they, of course, don't see it that way. They figure, if they can't get their, they're not going to bring it with them. A lot of these people are traveling cross country. You think they're not going to bring their own food and water and, and it's all over, the media. They already know what they're going into. Of course they're going to be ready. But that, to me, is just stirring the pot. That's all they're doing. But, I hope it's peaceful. I really do. But I really, in my heart of hearts, I think Wednesday's going to be bad. And like I said, even if they do or they don't overturn it, it's going to be bad either way. It's just, there's no way around it, y'all. But anyway, I'll say, like I try to express every video, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to use scare tactics. I just want to the best of my ability, just by word of mouth and video, try to get the message across that you guys need to be ready. That's all I try to do. I pray every night that God lays his hand back on this country and takes it back. I pray that every night. I pray that we can get, regain control of this country without the violence. But it's like they don't want that. They want it to get nasty. And they know it's going to get nasty. There's a lot more of us than there are of them, and they know it. That's why they're buying as many people as they can. Plain and simple. Now, I don't mean state to state. I mean country to country. But anyway, here's a list of some stuff that I kind of thought about and some more stuff that I found online that I just wanted to kind of run by you guys. There's some on here, of course, everybody thinks of, but there's some that maybe not everybody thinks of. Activated charcoal. Of course, you all know that you can use activated charcoal to filter water, but you can also use activated charcoal. Of course, like if somebody's ingested poison, they make them drink activated charcoal, and what that does is it absorbs the toxins before it can enter the bloodstream. And this might not, I don't want to say give it a shot, it might work, but like snake bites, stuff like that, if you mix it and grind, real fine and make like a salve, and you can put it on snake bites. If it's done quickly enough, it can absorb the venom at least long enough to get you some kind of some help. It can also work like on poison ivy, poison oak, the same way, kind of make it into a gritty salve and apply it, and it sucks the poison out. Aluminum foil, that kind of goes without saying. You can cook food on it, whatever. You can, use several pieces, and you can make a pot, and you can boil water, I want to say enhance your radio signal. It can work for that. Keeping the sunlight out, like say it is, bug out, whatever, and people got to take shifts, keeping guard and sleeping, and you can use the aluminum foil to block out the sunlight. Plus, it will generate heat at the same time. Animal repellent. You might want to have some of that. And these are, I'll go ahead and say that a lot of these, they're kind of mixed, like bugging in and bugging out. So, you can probably decipher which is which. But like animal repellent, if you're bugging in, you're going to hold your fort and you plant a garden and stuff next spring, you'll want animal repellent, like to keep your rodents away from your home, and small like herbivores like rabbits and stuff like that. You want all that stuff you can, especially if you're just learning how to farm or how to grow a garden. Not necessarily farm, but grow a garden. You're going to want all the help you can get, and if you're bugging in, I would go as far as to say anytime you see some scrap, like a fence, little rolls of fence or chicken wire or whatever it is that you can put around your plants, around your garden to protect it, I'd go ahead and just start. If you have a place like out in the corner of your property or something, just start kind of stockpiling that stuff too. Having stuff like that, it's not going to hurt at all. Even if you, like I do, I do a lot of my plants and stuff in just buckets and flower pots. Well, you can make baskets, to sit right down over those, and nothing's going to get to them. But yeah, animal repellents. Axes, kind of obvious. Baking soda. A lot of folks don't think about baking soda, but you can do a lot of different things. And some of these, I didn't go like very in-depth detail on every article, but I mean, you can Google it yourself or, whatever. But baking soda, there's a lot. I mean, oral hygiene, deodorizing. I mean, baking soda's got a lot of different uses. And you can, just clean with it. Bandanas. If you watch any of these prepping channels, people always mention bandanas because they're, not just a bandana, and they're a tourniquet. You can use them for cords, make a sling out of them. I mean, it goes on and on and on. This one, if you have room, great. This one would probably be more of a bugging out situation, because if you're bugging in, you're not going to be outside of your house. But baseballs, basketballs, footballs, etc. Playing ball is a great way to stave off boredom and keep morale up during hard times. And it's just a good workout. Throwing a football around, chasing each other. If you have some downtime. Especially if you're forced to bug out and you got little ones. They're going to be bored. But if you have, seriously, how much room do you need for a couple baseball mitts and a baseball or a baseball? Binder clips. That's a pretty good one because there are lots and lots of uses for binder clips. They come in all different sizes. You can use them to hang up your clothes to dry. Reseal bags to keep them, the air out of them. You can hook tarps together. All kinds of stuff. Like I said, it's really pretty. They're pretty handy to have. This next one, I hadn't even thought of, but I am going to get one. The book lights. Little like flashlight things that clip onto your book. Because I don't know if you've ever tried to read by candlelight. It sucks. You'll be blind by the next morning. But, you can get these little book lights. You can get them that take batteries, but you can also get them that are rechargeable. And I would definitely invest in one of those. Because, you're going to want books, and you might not be able to do all your reading during the day, or say you're just awake at night and you can't sleep. What else are you going to do? Grid down. You're going to, read. But I would strongly suggest having one of those little book lights. I'm definitely going to get one. And then, of course, books. That kind of goes together. You'd be surprised how much time you're going to have on your hands. So you're going to want some books around. Bug spray. Another one kind of, you might think about, you might not. But like right now, it's not really a necessity. But come spring and summer, and especially if you're bugging out in sweltering heat, the mosquitoes and gnats and flies, that's enough to drive you insane right there. So definitely want to get you some bug spray. Bungee cords. You can never have too many bungee cords. That's like duct tape. I think I said that the other night. Chapstick. Of course, to protect your lips and everything from chapping and burning and everything. But there's a lot of other things you can do with chapstick. That's one you'll have to kind of look up for yourself, because I didn't really look too far into it. But it's on a lot of lists. I've said this one before, candy. It's a huge morale booster during difficult times. Just, don't overdo it. Like, I'm diabetic, so plus I just try to stay away from it. Because even sugar-free candy is so high in carbs, it's ridiculous. So I just stay away from it, period. But a lot of folks, candy, that's a really good mood booster. Cast iron cookware, and this I strongly recommend. Of course, it's heavier than your typical survival kit you can order from Amazon type stuff to boil water and whatever. That's not going to last forever. As a matter of fact, it's not going to last that. If you're cooking every meal and that stuff, and it's just not going to last. But cast iron, you can get cast iron pans, you can get griddles, you can get, cast iron is amazing. And we're campers anyway. So we have about every kind of cast iron cooking pan that you could possibly want. I've got I've got one cast iron, which I would never take it if I was bugging out, but it's 18 inches across. I mean, you're talking about a lot of fried potatoes and eggs for breakfast. That's what I used it for. But definitely I would, and it is kind of pricey, but compared to what, you know, the situation, it's well worth the money. Cloth diapers. Yes, I guess, and no. Other than the obvious use, they're also great for cleanups because they're so absorbent. I mean, you can get towels, dishcloth, you know, whatever. But that was on there, so I threw it on here. One I was on here that, like, okay, I see the point. Condoms. You know. People are still going to have needs. People are still going to have diseases. You're not going to be wanting to bring a baby into this situation. So definitely, you know, I mean, if you got a monogamous partner, you know, and say one of you guys have had, you know, you're fixed and you can't, you know, okay. But say, you know, you're going into this single and you might want to hook up later. Like I said, everybody's still going to have diseases. And you're not going to want to bring a young one into this ordeal we're going through now. Or, you know, if we're bugging out and such. You're definitely not going to want that. A crank lantern. I have one. Actually, we have 3 of them, just in case. But I would definitely invest in a crank lantern, you know. Say you got 3 or 4 days of clouds, no sun, you know, or you're out of batteries and all you gotta do is crank it. I mean, you know, you have to crank it throughout the night, you know, or whatever, but it's good to have, you know, it's its own dependable, it's self-sustaining. I am skipping over some of these because I just, some of them I don't. And a lot of them is stuff that we've already, you know, we preach about all the time having. Crowbar, pry bar, you know, either or. That could have so many different uses, right down to even self-defense if it came down to it. Many uses for a pry bar. A field guide to edible wild plants. That's something I strongly suggest. I did order one. It hasn't come in yet, but I'm pretty excited to get that. Which, being around here, I mean, I've grown up in the outdoors in the woods, and, you know, I know a lot of what we got and what's edible and what's not. But a lot of folks don't. And a lot of folks, like desert folks and stuff, you guys are going to be a lot more limited, I would imagine. I can't say that for a fact because I don't know what y'all got. But, like, here, I mean, we got a lot of, like, berries and nuts and, you know, dandelion greens and, you know, all kind of cattails, pine needles for pine needles tea. And, I mean, it's just, we got a lot around here. A fire blanket. Quick and easy way to extinguish a small fire. You know, you definitely want to have that because I've said before, there ain't going to be no 911 fire extinguisher for larger fires. Again, there's not going to be no first responders, no fire department, nobody coming to save you. Map of your local areas. That's a very good one. Which, I mean, okay, say I'm 41 years old. I've lived in this same 20-mile radius for 41 years. I mean, I am very secure in saying I know every backwood, highway, byway, anything there is around here for even farther than that. You know, I've lived in this 20 miles for 41 years, but I've traveled probably a 100-mile radius of here for 41 years. So, I mean, and I know, like, if I do come down to bugging out, my bug out location is a county away, and I know exactly how to get there. I could walk through the woods and get there. I mean, I know how to get there. But say if you've relocated in the last 2 or 3 years and you're just now really learning your way around and back roads and stuff, you're definitely going to want that map. This was a good one that I hadn't thought of either. A meat thermometer. Of course they have those that are just analog. You don't have to have batteries, nothing like that. But especially if you're not used to cooking over a fire, you don't want to risk yourself of eating some undercooked whatever it is you're cooking. And make notes like in a notebook. That's another thing you want to have is paper and pencils or pen and paper, whatever. And you're going to want to know what meat internal temperature is done at. Did I say that right? You're going to want to know what temperature that specific meat has to reach in order to consume it. There we go. But yeah, definitely I would invest in probably 2 or 3 meat thermometers. They're cheap, they're small, you can stick them anywhere. But anyway, a mesh strainer. So you can strain oil, rendered fat, herbs, whatever that needs strained. A mesh strainer. Mylar blankets. I'm not even going to get into that. Pantyhose. I can't say never because I have used pantyhose to make catfish bait with. But pantyhose used to hold baits, make cordage, strain water, go fishing, dehydrate food, and many other things. So look into that if you want. It seems like there is a lot of uses for pantyhose. Of course, paper plates. That way you're not wasting any kind of water you got to try to wash your dishes. Paracord. We've been through all that. Plastic sheeting. Like just a cheap roll of plastic from Walmart, Menards, Home Depot, wherever. You can use it to repair leaks, collect water, keeping out contaminant. I'm about to give up tonight, y'all. Keeping out contaminants and many other uses. They don't have to be no great, if you want to make like a water collection system and using plastic, to harvest the water or however you want it, I would get like a heavier black thick plastic, so inevitably plastic's going to eventually dry rot or whatever. But if you're going to use it for something over and over and over and over and over, I would definitely spend a little more money and get some better grade plastic. Rim oil wipes. That's a very good one. This stuff, of course, it's commonly used to clean your firearms. Okay, but you can use it on anything metal. It'll keep it clean. It'll keep it from rusting. It'll keep it, running smoothly. No friction if it's a mechanical component. Whatever. The rim oil is really, really good stuff to have. Safety pins. That's another good one. You can use safety pins to hang stuff up to dry. You can make fishing hooks out of them. What else is there for? Does it say here? Fix shoelaces. Attach gear to your bag. Connect blankets or tarps to build a shelter. You could go on and on. Safety pins, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. They could hold your pants together. They can, there's unlimited uses for safety pins. A saw, of course. A sewing kit. I think I showed you guys when I did my bug out bag, which I need to do a different bug out bag video. I didn't really get into too much on that, and I'm getting ready to redo my bag anyway, but I might do that sometime this week. But I've got a really big, I guess you'd say, sewing kit. Because you're not, I mean, if you have to bug out, all you got is what you can carry. So, I mean, you're going to have a way to maintain your clothes. Because you're going to get, I mean, tears, rips, snags. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's the way it is. Shoelaces. There again, that's kind of like the clothes. You know, 9 chances out of 10, you're going to have a pair of sneakers and a pair of boots. That's what I have anyway. And those shoelaces go, you ain't going to be able to run anywhere and get some more. So I would definitely, for each pair of shoes you have, try to get you, you know, at least, I don't know, 2 or 3 extra pairs of shoelaces per pair of shoes. I mean, at least something to start out with. And plus, they have several different uses. If you need some cordage, you know, just a little bit of cordage for something, and that's all you had, you know, you can use it for that. Now this one I had never thought of because we don't have gas here, but a shutoff wrench for your gas outside of your house in case you do have a leak, something like that happens. Again, there's nobody to call to come help you, so you're at least going to be able to shut the gas off going into your house. Stainless steel pot, definitely. We have one, and you can, you know, whatever, heat your water, make soup, make, you know, whatever you need hot water for, basically. You know, cooking your rice, cooking your pasta, whatever. You're not going to cast iron skillet trying to do that in. You could, you know, but definitely some kind of stainless steel pot. Now this steel wool, I do recommend that for, you know, cleaning your pots and pans, of course. But you can use it for fire starter using steel wool and a AA battery. And this says peel carrots and potatoes. I've never tried that, but I could see it working. So that's something to keep in mind. Steel wool, blah, 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 blah. And it has and steel wool can also be used to plug mouse holes. And the more I read that, I think I remember maybe my great mama talking about that. I can't remember, but I know somebody has mentioned plugging mouse holes with steel wool, so I can see that. Super glue, another good thing to have that you can never have too much of. Of course, you know all the different things you can fix with super glue, but you can also, like, you know, minor cuts and semi, you know, larger cuts. You can, I'm not saying it don't burn, but you can glue your cuts and stuff together with super glue. And it will keep them from, well, it'll help keep the risk down for infection. And you can repair water bottles with super glue too, like the little cracks and whatnot. Survival books. I've ordered several. I've got 2. I think I ordered 4 of them, just to kind of keep on hand, just to kind of a how-to. You know, I've talked about that before. You can never have too much literature when it comes to survival, bushcraft, snares, campfire cooking, whatever pertains to living outdoors. You know, you can never have too much of that stuff. Like I said, you can watch somebody do it over and over and over and over and over and over on YouTube, but that don't mean you can just go out and do it. And, you know, if you're out there panicking, you're not going to be able to remember what everything that guy or lady said on that video to start a fire. Or, you know, whatever the case may be. Of course, tarps. Whatever. I mean, shelter, you know, whatever you can think of for tarps. that's a staple. You need tarps. I think that is about it Vaseline. That's another good one to have. You can use it for fire starter. You can use it to keep, like the rim oil, you can keep it, keep things from rusting. Some first aid applications. Kind of anything, you can, is it Vaseline? No, WD-40. That's also another good thing to have. Like your gardening tools, like the wooden handled, if you saturate them really well with WD-40, it'll keep them from rotting, dry rotting, getting waterlogged. It'll keep them from splintering. I mean, anything with any kind of wooden handle, if you soak that with WD-40, it'll last a lot longer. The last one on here I got is a vehicle escape tool. And after Christmas, we all now have our own individual that stays in our cars. There's many different varieties of them. Mine is a pocket knife. It's got the seatbelt cutter on it. It's got the glass breaker on it and everything. And some of them you can buy, it looks like little hammers. It has the windshield, the glass breaker, and the seatbelt cutter. But I would definitely have some kind of vehicle escape tool. And that's the end of my list, kids. Like I said, I think this week, good Lord, I've been on here for 36 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I get to rambling and it just keeps going. I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Like I said, if you got any chances to go out and grab a couple more things before Wednesday, I don't think it'd be a bad idea. And everything might go smooth. Who knows? We're living in a crazy world, y'all. It's hard to tell from one day to the next. Prep for the worst and pray for the best. That's all I can say. But I will be back with a video tomorrow night. Until then, God bless each and every one of y'all. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you're feeling. I get it. If you haven't already, please subscribe and share these videos with anybody you think might benefit from them. And I will see y'all tomorrow. God bless y'all. Papa Prepper out.